What's up, Ginger Cornets? So originally I started this video by saying, let's give a warm welcome to 2021. What a lovely year this is gonna be. But that didn't age so well, so let's just move on. Anyways, with Pokemon Journeys returning from its month off, I thought it would be fun to rank every episode of Season 1. Well, Season 1 and possibly a bit of Season 2. The whole thing is pretty confusing. Kinda made a video on it, but whatever, we'll just include every episode prior to the current break. Also, I'm trying something new for this video. I'll be reviewing each episode in real time, as opposed to scripting everything out. It's a bit easier this way, especially since I have 49 frickin' episodes to go through, and I want to upload more consistently, and don't want to kill myself with work this year. So whatever, let's just get into it. Bring on those rankings. Alright, tier list is ready, so let's just get right into it. We've got 49 episodes here, but let's just get started. Episode 1, Enter Pikachu. This was definitely a lot more focused on Go than Ash, and I definitely really liked that, because I feel like we've seen enough of Ash in the past. And the stuff with Pichu was really cute, so I'm gonna say A tier. Episode 2, the kind of real start, because the first episode was kind of a prologue. I really liked this episode. I thought it was really cool and fun how Ash and Go met on top of Lugia. That was definitely the most interesting meeting we've seen yet. I'm willing to say A tier. Episode 3, it had a bit of a slow middle section with Ash and Go kind of arguing a lot. I get why they did it to kind of like build up their friendship, but it was a bit of a drag. The end with Team Rocket was really good though, so I'm gonna say B tier. Settling the Score Bunny. This was the episode that obviously introduced Score Bunny, and I thought it was pretty good for building Go's character. It definitely didn't really have a full conclusion because the next episode kind of built off of it, so I'm willing to say B tier? Put it in C tier. Next, Mind-Boggling Dynamax, I believe it's called. This episode was really fun, where they're just trying to save the train from the Snorlax. It's the one where Go caught Score Bunny, and I really think it did a great job to like build his character and kind of establish his goal of catching every Pokemon. So I'm gonna say B tier for that. The next episode, I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of episode 6. It just felt like it dragged on a bit with Go catching every bug type. So I'm gonna say, you know what, I'm gonna say this one's C tier, and I'm gonna move Settling the Score Bunny up into B tier. I think it's deserving of that. But yeah, working my way back to Mew, it was just a bit boring in my opinion. Serving up the Flute Cup, that was a fun episode. I loved Mr. Mime. I loved Hodge or Hoji, new character introduced. I really hope we see him again. But yeah, this was a really fun episode with a really great battle at the end, so I'm gonna put this into A tier. Oh, okay, so Sinnoh Iceberg race. I want to really like this episode, but the problem is it's just so forgettable. I don't even remember the girl's name in English or Japanese. She had a Piplup and a Croagunk, clearly trying to like pander to Diamond and Pearl, but it was just a bit forgettable. Honestly, can't believe I'm saying this, I think Team Rocket kind of saved the episode, because there was just so little happening, and like, I love Sinnoh, but this episode was just not my thing, so I don't want to say D tier, because I definitely enjoyed it. I'll put in C tier. Finding a Legend, this episode did not get a good reception, and I can kind of understand why. The Japanese title is like The Promise We Made That Day, the Ho-Oh Legend of the Johto region, and that title definitely suggests that it's gonna have something to do with Ash and how we met Ho-Oh, perhaps like tying into the I Choose You movie a bit and maybe taking a page out of that book. But it was really just about an old man and his experience with Ho-Oh. A lot of people didn't like it. I really did, honestly. I thought it was a really heartwarming story about the old man sort of learning to believe again, and can't believe I'm gonna get flamed for this. Next episode, Test in Paradise. This is a popular episode where Ash caught Dragonite. Honestly, the episode itself is really standard. They meet a Pokemon, Ash needs to like help it out, and then in the end it does kind of pay off. So I would say C tier because it is very generic, but I do love the ending, and It was a good episode. I'll put it in B tier. The next episode is Best Friend, Worst Nightmare. This was a really fun episode. I loved the parts with Chloe, Koharu, whatever you want to call her. I thought that was a really, really heartwarming story with her and how she doesn't really know what she wants to do. The parts with Gengar, honestly, I enjoyed it, but I think I just kept wanting it to go back to Chloe because I just loved her story and how she like felt so much pressure in her class. But no, it was a good episode. I like the ending with Chloe and Yamper working together to defeat Gengar. Took a very, very little effort, honestly, to knock him out in one hit. So I'll say B tier. Flash of the Titans, the episode that introduced the World Coronation series. It was a great episode. That's all I can really say. It definitely helped to introduce what Ash's goal was going to be. It was awesome to see Lance return with his shiny Gyarados. The battle was great. That's an S tier. It's easy S tier. The next episode claimed to be the very best. I think this is just another S tier. I mean, it's the continuation. Starts off with them battling the Gigantamax Dreadnought. Then they have a battle where obviously Leon wins. And it does kind of end with Ash deciding that he's gonna enter the tournament and try to defeat Leon. So I'm putting this in S tier as well. Another great episode here, Raid Battle in the Ruins. I love the raid battle aspect. I thought it was really, really fun and well done. It would have been cool if Ash caught a giant Goler, because I feel like we would have been able to see it battle a bit more, but I'm alright with Go catching it. Yeah, I'm willing to put this in A tier. Snow Day for searching. It was fine. It introduced Go's family with his parents and grandmother. It was cool when Go caught Cubone. It was definitely a more Ash-style way of catching, with Cubone deciding to go with him. So I'm willing to say B tier for that. And then we've got a Chilling Curse. So this is the episode where Ash catches Gengar, obviously, and I really liked it. I love how when they battle Team Rocket, they have like a bunch of Ghostbusters references. I thought that was really funny. And I just liked the whole idea that Cerise knew the lab was haunted, and he just kind of rolled with it because he's like, yeah, sure, that sounds cool. So yeah, I'm going to say A tier for that one. Kicking it from here into tomorrow when Scorbunny learns Ember and also evolves. This was a fun episode. I'm typically not the biggest fan of Team Rocket centered episodes, but this one I really like. I love the scene. They're all stuck in the phone booth and Go just doesn't know what it is. I thought that was just really funny because in the original series, like, there were plenty of phone booths that people were using, but it shows that just like our world has sort of evolved technologically, so has the Pokemon world, even though Ash is still 10, so continuity is a bit weird, but we can get by that. I also love the ending when Raboot's clearly not really caring as much about Go. I don't want to say caring, but I think you know what I mean, where he's clearly a lot more stubborn. So yeah, I'm gonna say A tier for that. Oh yeah, this is a good episode. Alright, so Destination Coronation. It's the episode where I believe it's pronounced Viskys makes her debut. She's the substitute gym leader for Lieutenant Surge. It was just an awesome battle. I really hope we get to see Lieutenant Surge return. They kind of teased that at the end. But yeah, Gengar was amazing. I loved watching him battle Raichu. So I'm saying S tier. Talent for Imitation. It was a good episode. I like Jessie and Ditto's friendship in that, but I really wish Jessie had caught it. I feel like this would have been a great opportunity because Team Rocket, aside from, I mean, they've got Meowth and Wobbuffet, obviously, and they're living with Morpeko, but I'd love to see them actually catch some Pokemon. So I do wish Jessie caught it, but it was a good episode. So I guess C tier. It's honestly was not the most memorable episode in the world. What's next? Dreams Are Made of These. It was a fine episode. It's Ash, Go, and Chloe are like leading the students at the Cerise lab. It just kind of felt like it was reintroducing Ash and Go's dreams, which felt a bit random and out of nowhere, but it was a fine enough episode, so I guess C tier. Caring for a Mystery. Ash catches Riolu. They reintroduce Aura from the Lucario movie. It's awesome. I love this episode. I think everyone loves this episode. This is easy S tier. Goodbye, Friend. It was a fine episode, honestly. It's not spectacular by any means. I'll say C tier. We've got Panic in the Park. This was the episode after the hiatus ended that kind of kicked it back up. It was a fun episode. It's nothing that special. There's really not much to say about it, to be honest. I'm sorry. Another C tier. Oh, a Little Rocket R&R. This episode brings back the Matori Matrix. I love how that wasn't just something from Sun and Moon. They're kind of bringing it forward into the future of Pokemon. I don't know, I feel like the Matori Matrix is like the replacement for Butch and Cassidy. And I mean, they're cool, but I do miss Butch and Cassidy just a little bit. But yeah, this was a good episode. I love Ash and Team Rocket teaming up. I'm gonna say A tier. I thought this was really enjoyable. A festival reunion. This episode brings back Karina. It's full of just XY fan service, which I love. The one thing that's kind of dragging it down a bit for me, I hate to say, is that the battle itself, it was a good battle. It just felt a tad bit rushed. Gengar got knocked out immediately, and Lucario, I would have expected to put up a bit more of a fight, to be honest. But it was a good episode. I'll say A tier. Oh my god. Well, had to get here at some point. Alright, so Japanese title is Splash Magikarp Put It on Slowking. Oh my god, what do you want me to say about this episode? It was just, this is the first two-parter, and I would say A tier for how bizarre and funny it was, but I feel like now that two-parters are like a thing, I'm not a huge fan of that. I wish it was just this one-time thing, they air it, they don't explain why. I think that would have been really funny, but this fact that they did a second one, and we're gonna get to that, but I'm gonna say B tier. It's still a really funny and enjoyable episode. Toughing it out, this one is another one that I'd say should be S tier. We see it's where Raihan gets introduced, and technically Rose as well, and Sonia. There's a lot of characters introduced here. And it ends with Ash catching Farfetch'd, and it's a great episode. The only thing keeping it from S tier for me is that Leon and Raihan's battle was a bit dull. I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't know how else to explain it, but I feel like it was more so just, ooh, this attack's stronger than that attack. There wasn't really too much strategy in it, so I'm saying A tier. Hey, it's me, interrupting myself. If you made it this far into the video, then maybe you want to subscribe? I mean, you might already be, but it's worth a click, I don't know. Alright, I'll shut up so I can keep talking. Sobbing Sobble was fine. I like Sobble, it's cute. The episode's just alright, it's C tier. Nothing really that interesting goes on. There's a new kid in town, the one where this is the episode where the P-Dove comes and Chloe and Parker are basically just fall in love with it, and then Yamper gets super jealous. It's a Chloe episode, and those are always really wholesome and really they just make me happy to watch. So I'm gonna say B tier. It's just honestly not as memorable as some of the other Chloe-based episodes. Whew, I did an entire video on this episode because people did not like it when it came out. Rewatching it, I can definitely see a lot more why people were not a fan of this episode. I want to say I would have said A tier. Yeah, I'm gonna still say A tier. It's like a low A tier. I love the parts with Ash singing the Pikachu. Honestly, I think I prefer this episode dubbed rather than subbed, which is rare for me. I love how Sarah Netochenny portrayed the whole singing scene. I thought it was so well done, but I can see why people didn't like how Pikachu acted in this episode. Cuteness quotient. It's another Chloe episode. This one's just famous for that ending scene with Ash and Chloe just kind of standing there, and everyone's like, yes, we want more of this. Make her a main character finally. The episode itself, it was good, I'd say up until Team Rocket came. They just really didn't need to be there. What's next? Time After Time. This was the one with Go and Tokyo. They definitely changed the name in English. I don't remember what it was. I feel like it should have led into maybe even a two-part episode, because it just kind of ends with Go and Tokyo meeting back up, and I kind of wanted to see what happened. Though I think leaving it kind of open-ended was kind of the point. I'm gonna say B tier though. I could put it in A tier. I'm gonna keep it as B tier though. Trade, Borrow, and Steal. It's just okay. Go doesn't want to trade his Pinsir for Heracross. I didn't believe that, honestly, because Pinsir had done nothing up until this point, and it does nothing after this point. If it was Scyther, I could believe it. Not really Pinsir so much. I don't wanna say, I'm gonna put it in D tier. Team Rocket also popped in, it did literally nothing. I just was not a huge fan of this episode. We've got the, forget the name of this episode. It's when Ash battles Bee for the first time. This was definitely a put Ash in his place episode. He's gotten a bit cocky to this point, has not lost a battle yet, except to Leon. And it was a great battle. Bee is certainly a very strong trainer. I'm willing to, I'm gonna say A tier. I would say S tier, but the one thing keeping me from that is that we didn't get to see Go battle the Karate Master. Because we know that Go won. I want to see, like, Go win a battle. That would have been really cool, especially for the time when Go wasn't really as into battling as he is now. Gotta catch a what? See, I love this episode. I just wish Go's Pikachu didn't evolve so quickly because I loved her personality. I thought she was so cute. And, like, I get how they wanted to give him just give him Raichu to get out of the way so you don't have two protagonists with a Pikachu. But I really wish he had kept it as a Pikachu for longer. This was the episode where everyone was talking like, oh, is Pikachu gonna evolve? Of course it wasn't. Clickbait from the writers. Of course it wasn't gonna evolve. I'm gonna say B tier. Making battles in the sand. I believe this is the latest episode that has an English dub. I thought it was a really good episode. Ash is kind of like, he's moved back into the normal class. I like how it was Go that kind of got him back into the spirit of battling, because it was Ash who got Go into battling in the first place. I really like this episode. I'm gonna say A tier. I thought it was really well done. I'm back. Nice to meet you, Alola. Good episode. All around just really fun episode. A couple gripes. It's weird how they didn't mention how Ash won the Alola League. This would have been a great point to bring it up. I also kind of wish it was a two-parter, but it was just so enjoyable to see all these characters return. I love how we're seemingly gonna see the Lily arc conclude with her and her family looking for her father. I love that. It's so cool. They're like doing an arc that stretches between two different series. I think that's so cool. So I'm putting this in A tier. This was a good episode. We've got Miracle Restoration, the fossil Pokemon. This is definitely the first episode where Chloe really seems like she's part of the group, and I really like that. As an episode, it was pretty standard, so I would say like C tier if it was just for the episode itself, but I love how she really grows a lot, I feel, in this episode, where she clearly had fun, like at the fossil research facility, so I'm putting this in B tier. Conquered the Octolock. Good episode. I kind of expected Ash and Bee to tie. I didn't think they were gonna like end this rivalry that quickly with Ash winning. I do expect they're gonna have a third and final battle, probably at Bee's gym, probably with Dynamaxing. Really looking forward to that. But this was just a great episode. We also got to see Chuck return, and that was cool. I like Chuck. He's a really cool dude. So I'm gonna put this in A tier. Versus Zapdos, a legendary raid battle. Another just like Go almost caught Zapdos in this episode. I mean, he's like really improved as a battler. I do wish the raid battle aspect with Team Rocket lasted more than like 2 minutes, because that's kind of what they were building up in the preview. But overall, great episode. Another A tier. People hated this episode. I kind of got enjoyment out of how bad it was. So a sick part of me wants to like put it up into C tier, but it's gotta be D tier. This episode was not good. It was enjoyably bad, but the episode was just awful. Please no more two-parters. So now we've got the Sword and Shield arc, which is the next 4 episodes. Not gonna lie, the whole thing blended together. It kind of just felt like one big movie to me, but that's kind of a good thing in a sense, because I can't tell you, like, I mean, first episode obviously is the Slumbering Weald, last one's with the final battle against Eternatus. I mean, I'm just gonna put the whole arc into S tier. The whole thing is just amazing. It's the most enjoyment I had from Pokemon Journeys thus far. So I have no problem putting all of it into S tier. Alright, so the next episode is the Revival of Mewtwo. I was really looking forward to this episode. I don't want to say I was disappointed, because I wasn't necessarily expecting the world from it. I do hope Mewtwo returns later in the series. I would have liked a bit more continuity, if that makes sense, because obviously Ash knows who Mewtwo is, and he met him in Mewtwo Returns, which is canon, but it's just weird how Mewtwo didn't really acknowledge Ash, especially in Mewtwo Returns. It made such a big deal out of how Ash saved its life. But overall, I think it was a good episode. I'm gonna say B tier. I wasn't disappointed, but I wasn't like fully content with how it ended up. Pokemon Champion Battle of Big Eaters. This was one of my favorite filler episodes. We finally got to see Team Rocket's, I don't know if they technically own it, but they're Morpeko really in action. The scene where Blaziken didn't want to eat the Torchic cakes because he like saw them as his chicks. I loved that. That was one of the funniest gags in the whole series. I don't know if objectively it's an A tier episode, but I'm putting it in A tier. I loved that episode. I did not love the next episode though. It kind of like that episode led into the next one where they won the tickets to Unova. It was so weird though that Greedent wasn't with them because Greedent's the one that won it and Greedent just wasn't allowed out. Did not make sense. Was really annoyed by that. I like Team Rocket and Hikachu. I thought that was funny, but the whole episode is watching Cinderace and Lucario just kind of like constantly get flung around. Ash and Ghost seem to just like, they're too distracted by food, Ash in particular, to really notice what's going on. The whole episode could have been so much better. Just, it was a letdown, honestly. I was looking forward to it, finally seeing Cinderace and Lucario in action, but I'm sorry, I have to put this in D tier. It was very underwhelming. And then finally, we have Chloe and the mysterious Eevee. Love this episode. Chloe finally, I guess Yamper's technically her dad's Pokemon, so she finally catches her own Pokemon. I love the whole dynamic of Eevee not really knowing what it wants to evolve into, and how that mimics Chloe not knowing what she really wants to do with her life. And so yeah, I just love this episode. I love the ending. It was just fun all the way through, and I'm gonna say A tier. So here's the final tier list. Let me know what you think. It's not going to be controversial in the slightest, I'm sure of it. If you weren't a fan of this new unscripted type of video, don't worry, it's not going to be replacing my usual videos. I've got plenty of those planned, trust me. But I do really hope you enjoyed. So a couple videos ago, I said that I ordered a Pokemon comic book collection with all the old newspaper comics. And guess what came in? So hopefully there's gonna be a video on that in the future. No idea what I'm gonna do, but hopefully it's the funniest thing in the world because I am really looking forward to reading these. Alright, see you later, Gator Taters.